Hello everyone, greetings of the day. In our previous lecture, we have discussed about the distribution channels, its types, levels, and the functions. So in today's lecture series, I would like to discuss about the channel designs, decisions, and channel selection process. So designing a channel system is not so easy for the companies because it requires lots of efforts and the selection of channel members are very important. So designing a channel system include first is this analyzing consumer service needs. Second is setting the channel objectives and its constraints. Third is identifying the major channel alternatives. Fourth is evaluating the major alternatives. So we we have to discuss about this analyzing consumer service needs. That's important. Designing the distribution channels begins with determining what convenient location to buy the products, immediate delivery, credit, repairs, long-term warranty the consumers want from the channel, because the customers are directly interacted with the channels. Intermediaries, we can say the middleman, we can say in the form of wholesalers, retailers, brokers, agents, right? So in this way the distribution channel requires lots of efforts, like in terms of immediate delivery of the product is important nowadays. There's a huge problem of distributing the products from one place to another, as transportation means are not so active nowadays due to this COVID problem. So the company must balance the consumers service needs with the feasibility and the costs plus prices. Obviously, the cost of this delivering or distributing the goods should be analyzed by the companies, and accordingly they have to provide the consumer service needs. Second, we have this setting the channel objectives and the constraints. As you know that the companies has certain constraints, and for the large companies, for the big companies, it's not a problem to distribute and to increase the channel members according to their feasibilities, but for the small companies it's very difficult. So the company must decide which segments to target and the best channel to use in each segment. So that's important. Here, the objective of the company is to minimize the total channel cost. Again, the company has to minimize the total channel cost also. So besides the target market, the company channel objectives are influenced by what? The nature of its product, because perishable products require this more direct marketing to avoid the delays and too much handling. Suppose apple is a perishable product, milk, curd, this it's a perishable product, and day-to-day delivery of these products are important, and effective distribution is the benchmark in this case of these two for the perishable products, right? Company characteristics. The company size, as I've already told you, that company size and financial situation determine which functions it can be handled, how many channels it can be used, okay, which transportation can be used, that's also important. Characteristics of the intermediaries are also the part of this. Intermediaries differ in their abilities to handle promotions, customer contact, storage, and credit. So the company's own sales force is more intense in selling, rather we are relying on the third party. Okay, so the characteristics of the intermediaries is also important of the setting the objectives and the constraints. Then we have this competitors channel. Some companies may prefer to compete in or near the same outlets, right? If you have visited any this market, so you find the the close outlets which are related with the competitions, like in the case of Pizza Hut and Domino's Pizza, in the case of Burger King and the McDonald's. So they wants to locate their nearest competitors so that they can encash the advantage of the same. Environmental factors is another area of concern. Economic conditions and legal constraints affect channel design decisions in a depressed economy. Okay. Producers want to distribute their goods in the most economical way using shorter channels. That's again a decision policy by the companies. Next, we have identifying major alternatives. So after the channel objectives have been determined, the company should identify its major channel alternatives in terms of what? Types of intermediaries they have to choose, number of intermediaries they have to choose, and the responsibilities of each channel member they have to define. Again, that's important for the company's perspectives. So now, types of intermediaries. A firm should identify the types of channel members that are available to carry out its channel work. Obviously, नंबर ऑफ मार्केटिंग इंटरमीडियरीज, कंपनीज को मार्केटिंग इंटरमीडियरीज के नंबर्स भी डिसाइड करने पड़ते हैं, और दे हैव द थ्री मेजर स्ट्रेटजीज along it. That is the intensive distribution. It's a strategy in which companies stock their products in as many as outlets as possible, especially in the case of these convenience goods. Common raw materials must be available where and when consumers want them. Suppose toothpaste, nowadays candy, right, shampoo, detergent, salt. Okay, these are the products which requires intensive distribution because these are the daily usage products. Okay, Procter & Gamble, Coca-Cola, Pepsi distributes its products in this way. Vita we can say nowadays, right? Amul we can say nowadays. So here the advantages are maximum brand exposure and the consumer convenience. Second way is the exclusive distribution. It's a strategy opposite to intensive distribution, in which the producer gives only a limited number of dealers the exclusive right to distribute its products in their territories. Often found in new automobiles, especially the automobile segments, luxuries, we have in this kind of exclusive distribution strategies. And here the advantages are establishing image and getting higher markups. Obviously, getting higher markups are important in this exclusive distribution because the customers are not able to find the as many as options available in the market because of the exclusiveness in the market. Right? Then we have a selective distribution. It is in between intensive and exclusive distribution. It's a strategy in which the company uses more than one but fewer than all of the intermediaries. So most television brands, furniture brands, laptop brands are distributed in this way. So here the advantages are what? It provides good market coverage with more control and less cost than intensive distribution. Plus, it does not spread its efforts over many outlets as in intensive distribution. Okay. After that, we have to evaluate the major alternatives which we have discussed in order to select the channel that satisfy the company objectives. in the best way, each alternative should be evaluated by using: first is the economic criteria. The company compares the projected profits and costs of each channel. Second is control issues. The company prefers to keep the channel where it has the highest control. Obviously, nearness is a factor again. Adaptive criteria. The company prefers to keep the channel which is the most flexible to the changing marketing environment. Again, it's an important factor. So these are the various areas of concern whereby the companies has to decide and design about the distribution channel process. Right. Thank you so much for this video. I have adopted the another way of the video today due to certain constraints. Right. Stay safe. Stay home. Take care of yourself and your family. Namaskar. Thank you so much.